What up, y'all? About a month ago, I dropped my 2024 playoff predictions, each seed in each conference, who's going to win each game, who's going to represent each conference, who's going to win the Super Bowl, all that good stuff. I have a couple amendments to those original predictions. There's just some things that have happened, some wavering a bit on my part, I guess you could say, to where I'm going to change things up a little bit here on the record right before the season starts. It kicks off next Thursday. Unbelievable. We are already almost there, less than a week away from the NFL regular season. So fired up to get into it. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Really appreciate y'all tuning in here. If you enjoy the content, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. So starting with the AFC, I have the Jets out. I originally had them in. I have the Jets out and the Dolphins in. Reason being is there's just some question marks I still have about the Jets. And another question that kind of popped up during training camp, like, where is Hassan Reddick? Is he going to actually play at all for the New York Jets? He's already taken on a ton of fines, so it's not like he's worried about that part. Is he ever going to report? And even if he does, like, this Jets defensive front is not as deep as it was in years past. I know that we're excited about them improving the offensive line with Smith, with bringing over the guys from the Ravens, but Simpson and Moses really that much to get excited about? I'm not sure. I still have questions there. I do think Garrett Wilson's fantastic at receiver. Breece Hall, Mike Williams, when healthy, can absolutely be a threat as well. And, cornerback wise, they look fantastic. Linebackers, you still love Quinnen Williams, on the interior of the defensive line. But overall, there's a lot of question marks for the Jets. Again, up front on both sides of the ball. And then Aaron Rodgers coming off the Achilles. I originally was just like, I think he's going to be fine, but I have questions. And when you look at a loaded AFC, even a division in the AFC East that features the Buffalo Bills, who I think are very underrated this year, the Miami Dolphins, who I think are being underrated a little bit, including by myself, right? I'm moving off the Jets and moving in on the Dolphins, and I don't think the Dolphins are really going to be able to make a splash, pun intended, in the playoffs. But I do think the Dolphins are going to make the playoffs again. This is a football team that just has too much speed, too much great coaching on the offensive side of the ball, some key pieces on defense that will be back throughout the year. Yes, they lost a lot on their lines of scrimmage. They absolutely did. But I think they do a good job of mitigating that offensively with the way they design plays. And then defensively, I'm hoping that it's just more cohesive with their new defensive coordinator. Obviously, Vic Fangio didn't mesh with a lot of the players there. So I think the Dolphins are going to be in, the Jets are going to be out. That's how I'm viewing that one. So it's Chiefs, Texans, Ravens, Bills, Jaguars, Bengals, and Dolphins in that order for me. 1 through 7 in the AFC. I still have the Chiefs taking down the Texans in the AFC title game. Those are the two best teams in the conference, in my opinion. Yes, the Ravens might have something to say. The Bills might have something to say. I think from top to bottom, coaching staff-wise, down to the roster, I still think that the Texans are the second best team, and I think the Chiefs are the clear best team in the NFL right now. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, a heap of other talented football players. Everybody talks about losing L'Jarius Sneed. The reason the Chiefs were okay with moving on from L'Jarius Sneed is because they're going to end up paying Trent McDuffie here pretty soon, who is an unbelievable game plan corner. Perfect for a Steve Spagnuolo defense. He can play outside, he can play inside, he can follow your best player, he can do whatever is needed from the defense that week. And I think that's going to make a big impact. And a lot of people like to forget about Nick Bolton. I will not forget about Nick Bolton. That is one of the best off-ball linebackers in the league today. So I have the Chiefs taking down the Texans in the AFC title game. In the NFC, I have not changed any of the teams that are going to make the playoffs there. I have the Bears, the Rams, the Packers, the Falcons, the Lions, the 49ers, and the Eagles, right? The Eagles are the big change I'm making here. I have them as the 1 seed now. I had them, I think, before as the 3 seed, and I think they're going to be the NFC champions. This roster is loaded once again. It absolutely is. I think that they have the pieces on the offensive line and the defensive front. Traded out Hassan Reddick for Bryce Huff. Hassan Reddick ain't playing football right now. Bryce Huff is. You still have a lot of talented guys up there. I love the way they revamped their secondary through the draft and also bringing back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I think those young guys that they got, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, are pro-ready in this Vic Fangio defense. Speaking of, I love the fact that they have professional coordinators on both sides of the ball now. Vic Fangio, I know, didn't go great in Miami last year, but I think in this Philadelphia, within this locker room, within this organization, Vic Fangio can get the job done with the talent that they have. The one question mark defensively is off-ball linebacker a little bit, but there are potential answers. You know, like Zach Bond is a pretty good football player. You have Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who you brought in. Nakobe Dean still competing. Obviously, they also brought in Devin White. So there are potential answers, and I think that there's enough talent on the back end and up front to where that they can get it figured out defensively. And even if they're not great defensively, I think they will be pretty good. I think Jalen Carter is going to be an absolute problem on the interior going into year 2. I think he's going to be like an all-pro caliber player potentially. Not first team, maybe second. And I look at their offense, which is now coordinated by Kellen Moore. I feel really good about that. I feel really good about the fact that they're just going to have more answers to the questions that are presented to them throughout the year. They're still going to have the tush push. Is Jason Kelce playing football for them? No. But they still have a very talented offensive line, in my opinion. And you look at bringing in Becton, it looks like he might be starting for them at right guard. They still got their tackles in place. Cam Jurgens has been in this system. He was expected to take over at center probably a year or two earlier than he actually is having to. Played guard for them before. They just have a loaded offensive line. And then the skill position talent. I mean, Jalen Hurts, still an unbelievable quarterback to deal with from a defensive perspective. His legs, his ability to throw on the run, his decision-making and accuracy. Again, I think he's going to have a lot more help from his offensive coordinator this year. And then you got Saquon Barkley in the backfield, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Oh, yeah, by the way, Jahan Dotson you were able to get for nothing, basically, from your division rival. And then you also have Dallas Goedert. Like, it's an unbelievably talented offense. I think that they're going to do a good job getting more out of it with Kellen Moore coordinating this thing. Really do. So I have the Eagles making it to the Super Bowl, still have the Chiefs winning that football game, but it's a rematch of a couple years ago and kind of got the post-hype NFC team with the Philadelphia Eagles, but I love what they did this offseason. Not a big fan of Nick Sirianni. I've been very plain about that over the last couple years. I don't know exactly if I agree with the way he carries himself or his leadership style, but bringing in a Kellen Moore and a Vic Fangio, along with all the talent they added to an already talented roster this offseason, I'm in on it. I really am. Philadelphia Eagles. So that'll do it here. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe. You can also hit that notification bell. If you want to follow me on Twitter for more of my NFL takes and thoughts, please do that at Jordan DeLugo. Y'all have a good one.